be a director is to get on and make films, because there's no substitute for it. You can read about it, you can watch it, but making it is a profoundly different thing.
Just get a camera and shoot.
Make a movie every week in Super 8 or high def, write every night, and every weekend shoot for 2 days and work with actors.
Make your film, no matter what.
Get a camera, get some buddies. Just fucking do it.
So if you want to make a movie, there's cameras, go get a camera and start making a film. That's what you do.
The only piece of advice I know how to give anybody is make a film.
Make a movie. Start making movies, is my advice to anybody. Just make it.
I don't care if it's just 8mm film. If you can borrow somebody's camera, go make a film. I don't know what else to say.
Make films. That sounds easy. And I don't mean to be trite about it.
You have to just start making movies. There is no other way. I mean, it is a muscle and it is a skill.
When I was starting out, it was just anybody that had a camera, anybody amongst your friends that you could talk into being on camera or behind the camera. Because the important thing was to learn how to tell stories with images.
Don't pay attention to industry. Do your own thing.
Well, a movie requires all this equipment and requires people, and there's no way that one could do that. It's not available to everyone, but it is now.
It's so much easier now to make a film, technically.
That it is not difficult.
It's a nice, easy way of making a living.
Easy?
Yes.
Movie making easy?
Yes.
Well, you're the first person I've ever spoken to who said that.
And forget about, you don't have to know about these things, you just have to press a button, for Christ.
As we say, if I may drop into the vernacular, it's a piece of pie.
You can make a film on a camera the size of that doorknob and still show it to 1,600 people in an audience. It's still a great communal experience.
Unfortunately today with these wonderful digital cameras, you can shoot it the weekender and you can write a little story. The best way is experience.
There's no excuse. You have a digital camera, go out and shoot your film this weekend. Just do it. Seriously, there is no excuse.
I think the great benefit that we have today is that technology has put filmmaking in everyone's hands.
You have to make things and you have to show it, and you have to sit there and watch an audience watch what you've done and then do it again.
Big realizations is that, the moment you begin, it's not a fixed thing, it expands, and that you actually change the dimensions, the size and the scope of what you're capable of by a bit of learning, a bit of technique and a bit of effort.
I got 3 years on a 16mm film that ended up becoming nothing but guitar picks. And I was very disappointed when I realized it wasn't any good, but it was my film school.
Get a video camera like this one right here, get a film camera, get whatever you can get, and if you have a story to tell, that's all you need.
If you want to be a filmmaker, the best thing you can bring to, the world is your own story.
It's not about technique, it's about having ideas.
When I sat down to my first production meeting on Shivers, I didn't know what anybody did. I didn't know what a production manager did. I didn't know what a props person did. I didn't know what an assistant director did. I didn't know what any of the people who were sitting around the table waiting for me to tell them what to do. I actually didn't know what they did.
I didn't know what you couldn't do. I didn't deliberately set out to invent anything. It just seemed to me, why not? And there is a great gift that ignorance has to bring to anything, That was the gift I brought to Kane, was ignorance.
The other thing is you got to write.
You did a survey the last 25 years and looked at the first films of directors. I would say a large percentage of those films, those directors wrote that script.
Usually if you want to do something interesting, it's something you've written, and even and really to learn filmmaking, you must learn screenwriting.
But you have to have this kind of a reasonable amount of unreasonability to even become a filmmaker. Because reasonability dictates that, like, hey man, you're not from Los Angeles, you don't work near a movie studio, you're not born to this business, you can't be a filmmaker. That's for other people. You have to have a reasonable degree of unreasonability. You have to be able to be like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. But not enough where you're like, but I'm going to change the world. Just enough where like, I'm going to do it. Fuck them what they say.
If you want to be a filmmaker, nothing should put you off
and nothing should put you down.
Rejection is a huge part of the business. You are rejected most of the time. And so you have to be able to deal with that, because if you cannot put that aside, it'll destroy you.
And persevere. Really, really persevere.
Imagine you've lost the person that you love. Your parents think you're a failure. Everything has gone wrong. Everything. Do you still want to be and it takes 20 years, 30 years, and everybody says you stink, you're terrible. You spent all that time, all regret. Your whole life is defined by your failure to do this. Is it still something you want to do? Then go do it, because there should be no other choice in the matter.
The thing I really want to emphasize is I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice.
You've got to be completely obsessed.
If you're crazy and mad for it enough, persist and you'll get there eventually, you know, because actually what you don't realize at the moment is the industry needs you. It needs fresh blood all the time, and fresh ideas.
When you never give up, when you never, in French we say, il faut jamais baisser les bras. You don't never have to lower your hands, you know, you always have to be there, and it will happen.
And I had calculated that I could make a feature film for about $10,000. I mean, at this point, I was the whole crew: cameraman, assistant cameraman, director, everything. So I had no cost. I totally failed to recognize what I didn't know about making films or anything. You know, I just thought, well, I got the film made, and but it was very, very dull, with the exception of one or two of the actors. They were all terrible actors, and I knew nothing about directing any actors. It never returned a penny of its investment. Again, not one single offer ever to do anything, you know, from anybody. So I, in about 2 weeks, knocked together another script with somebody, and this time it was sort of a reaction to the other one. This was nothing but action sequences.
To me, the great hope is that now these little 8mm video recorders and stuff are coming around. Some just people who normally wouldn't make movies are going to be making them, and, you know, suddenly one day some little fat girl in Ohio is going to be the new Mozart, you know, and make a beautiful film with her little father's camera recorder. And for once, the so-called professionalism about movies will be destroyed forever.